Mr. Noorani, how are you doing? I cannot hear you.
I'm sure you can hear me. I mean, I can hear you too.
Now I can hear you.
Okay. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you
Good,
doing?
good, good, good. So are we going live right now or are we?
So we are recording and then we're gonna I'm gonna then post it.
Okay. So once you post it, you'll probably edit it as well.
I think
Just the start part,
okay.
when I spoke my native language. Okay. Because I could have said much more. You should have
No, no,
edited.
it's all right. Speaking more than one language is always an added skill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what you speak in that language is not a skill set at all.
Yeah, why not? I mean,
The
like
way I could have started.
for example, Arnold Schwarzenegger said that, he did not want to change his accent because, he wanted to be the Terminator.
Yeah.
So I don't want to change my accent because it's the Indian accent is already funny. So in
Yeah.
comedy it really helps.
Yeah, so that's by default. That yeah, we're just funny human beings. Yeah, that's by default. Okay.
Okay, so
So who's going to hear this? Who's going to see this? Who's the audience?
anybody who's the entire world is audience for this because we are living in an attention economy.
Yeah.
Attention is currency these days,
Okay.
and whatever gets the eyeballs gets the revenue. So whether it is advertising, whether it is music, whether it is film, whether it is technology, you know everybody is under the savage rule or the bombardment of attention, whether it is notifications, and that's why our attention span has decreased from 2.5 minutes to 30 seconds now, you know from 2004 until now. So all these apps vying for our attention, all these notifications, we hardly use any apps beyond. I don't use any apps beyond my the home screen. I mean, I have made different silos of finance apps or productivity apps or business apps or social media apps, but and nothing more than that. But there are millions of apps on app stores, Google Play as well. But the thing is, the question is now what should we do? Because we are under a mental health crisis because of these distractions. The productivity is decreasing. Companies are putting digital breaks, during work hours so that, people can reboot, and every notification that we get distracts us from our work. And that was the reason I launched U2Go app as well, that you were part of as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So tell me about your journey in advertising. Let's start from there, then we can go to music as well, and then your social activities and what's the role of attention, because as I remember, when we started as copywriters back in the day, the landscape of mainstream media was huge, and the dish channels were coming up and cable channels were coming up, and the scope of advertising apart from the national television was increasing. And that's why whether it was print, internet was new. And so tell me a little bit about how you have tweaked your copywriting from then to now, where social media retention and the constantly flipping algorithms force us to redefine what creativity is.
So before we get there, let me just recalibrate one of the facts that you gave right in the beginning, that in since 2004 it has gone down from what, 20 to 30 minutes to some
Uh,
30
two and a half
seconds.
two
200
and a half
minutes
minute 2.5
30
minutes to
seconds.
30 seconds, yeah.
30 seconds. Well, let me correct you there because now it has gone down.
Really?
So we are technically competing with the Goldfish,
Oh,
and
really?
Goldfish is winning by 1 second.
Really?
Goldfish is at 8 seconds. Our attention span is 7, so it's terrible now.
My God, that's great
So
research.
yes, so if we are having this interview, let's say in 2030,
Yeah,
I won't be surprised if that 7 has gone down to a 4. I would not be surprised.
this is right.
And then we're never going to get up until we get back to the basics.
Yes.
So for me, and before we dive into our journey, for me, but the first time you reached out to me for attention span and the attention economy, so to speak, I thought it's now has become it used to be a rare commodity. No, it used to be a commodity. Now it's become a rare commodity, uh, like like oil or gold or maybe this has become a lot more addictive nowadays, if you will. And companies just somehow, and I'm sure you agree with me, companies don't want your money anymore. They want your time, your clicks, your scrolls, and what have you. Because once they have that, the money will follow, right?
That's right.
And you could come back and ask me, Atif, and say, why is that a big deal?
Yep.
So hasn't advertising always gotten the attention out of it?
Yeah.
That's back in the day too, and back in the day now as well, to a certain extent.
That's right.
But I would say the game has changed when the internet turned everything into just noise.
Right.
And there's just so much content now, and I'm sure there's something I've just said you have no idea. Of course, you live in that orbit.
Yes.
And so with so much content, grabbing attention is just step one.
Yes.
It's not even a step two or three. It used to be a third and fourth, so it's step one now. And so you're not just competing with other brands, you're actually competing with memes. You say that thirst traps then you would dog videos. I mean, you are competing with cat videos,
That's
literally.
right. That's
And
right.
attention is like that drug, that getaway drug.
That's
You
right.
want to be high, you don't need to take drugs anymore. Just
Right.
have loss of attention is loss of drugs.
That's right.
That's your high. So now let me scroll back to our times. I mean, we go back way back when from in the hustling, bustling, still hustling, bustling city of Karachi in
Yeah.
Pakistan. That's where we all grew up.
Yeah.
And we have had so much stories to share, which this 30 minutes will not be enough.
Right.
And we'll have to turn that PG-13 to a rated R. We don't want to do that, or could be higher. So
Yes.
we will
And
not.
speaking of that, sorry to
Yeah,
interject.
yeah,
And, pornography itself is part of the
yeah.
attention, economy, so to say, or, you have to compete with that as well because it is much more accessible than it used to be.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. And the human desire has now become the part of the attention economy as well, I think. Uh, and it's important that we are somehow satisfied either way it comes to us.
Mhm.
We don't have to look for it now.
Yes,
It's looking for us, it's seeking us now.
that is right.
So way back when, in those times, we didn't have that much of, and I'm speaking 1990s, so to
Right.
speak. We only had print media to be the dominant media. Then we have the TV media to be the dominant and parallel media, but we didn't have enough digital media. That was just coming up. And
Right.
social media, what was that?
Yep.
We've never heard of it.
Yep.
So, uh, but let me just say one thing here, Arthur.
Yeah.
Every time has its own pros and cons. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
Even then, if we were to be having this conversation in, let's say, 1998, we'll still be talking about tensions economy, but of a different order.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
And now it's a completely different order.
Yes.
So we're having the same conversation over and over again, but the product and the orbit has changed now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And same as
So
if we are talking about 1898, attention was there.
yeah, attention was
Our,
there.
our psychological desires were there and the
Yeah.
same. Yeah. But they are
And
just transcending.
exactly. And they were met with different avenues.
Yes.
Now the avenue has become wider.
Right.
Okay. So uh, my journey, so you would know that in that one MBA classroom, if you
Right.
remember,
Yeah.
we were given an assignment to write something about something and then speak about it.
Right.
That was the first time I actually written something that could convince people. At least I had that idea. I don't remember what I spoke about. Maybe you can remind me, but you spoke about book or something without reading anything.
Hmm.
You just spoke.
Yes.
And that gave me the idea that this guy cannot only write, he can convince or speak the idea he's just written.
Hmm.
And plus, you didn't write anything. You
Right.
just went off the cuff. That was brilliant.
Thank you.
And I learned so much.
Hmm.
And then we did that, the Visa card ad, the
Hmm.
plane that never flew
Hmm.
in the future, never flew in the past. It just sort of stuck there and stagnant.
Right.
So that was that.
Right.
But those were great times.
Right.
I still have that passion to write. As
Good.
you would notice on my LinkedIn, I
Right.
constantly write. You
Yes.
don't write to always get paid. You just
Right.
write because you want to express something.
Absolutely.
And that's what I did.
It's a
And
it's a need actually.
yeah,
It's like a it's cathartic. It's therapy for me. And you mentioned about my off the cuff riffing, but I always looked up to you in terms of presentation because you had been to, you studied in US
yeah.
earlier as well. And so whether it was, conducting yourself on the podium or, everything. So, I mean, it's great to hear this from you because I was always inspired. And again, in terms of orientation about advertising in global scope or landscape, your and that's why you were the president of the class.
Well, I mean, it was more like a resident of the class rather than a president of the class, I would say. But we both learned from each other. Of course,
Yes.
we both were inspired by each other. We were only inspired, but to be very honest, all the people who are listening out there or will be listening to this, who
Hmm.
belong to that class,
Right.
they know that we were just inspired by each other. Everybody else perspired us.
Right, that's correct.
None of them inspired us.
That's
They
correct.
all perspired us. And so we were enough for each other and we knew what. But, Atif, come to think of it, I'm glad you asked that question at the beginning, my journey. And it's a parallel journey.
It is.
We did it together.
Yeah.
I honestly think we were not tapped enough of our talent.
Right.
I don't think we were. We
Right.
would have given so much had we been tapped more.
Right.
And then we came here, and then we had the opportunity again, of course, and you're doing what you're doing, I'm doing what I'm doing.
Right.
Uh, but now, so coming back to writing,
Right.
that's a release for me from the pressure around me,
Mhm.
and nobody's stopping me anymore.
Right.
I'm going to write what I want to write.
Right.
There are no restrictions.
Right.
There were back then. Who's
Yep.
going to think what?
Yes.
I don't care.
What will be published and what will be
Yes.
printed and what will go on air? Yeah.
Yes, writers don't care anymore.
Yeah.
They just want to write because they want to express something. And
Right.
I'm on the same category. And so are you.
Yeah.
And now I think
In fact,
to
in fact, your latest article that you have written about listening to experts or just reading
yeah.
through the, blogs, it's an amazing, differentiation between what should be or what could be,
No, no, absolutely. I mean, we think we are the smartest people in the room until I mean it's all fluff in the air. And then
Yes.
somebody walks in and is like, oh my God, let me take a back seat. Let me listen to this person.
Yes.
So our ego is checked every single time we meet a professional
That's right.
because we think we were the first one. Well, we are not.
Yep.
So much to learn. It's
Yep.
that ego we need to check at the door and be humble about what we don't know. Yeah,
Right.
it's very
Absolutely.
important. But now I think the world around us, Atif, has opened up so much, so many doors, that now, and please don't get me wrong when I say the attention span is going to go down.
Mhm.
That's the repercussion of so many doors being opened
Yes.
because everybody's vying for your attention.
That's right.
And you want click and bait right in that very first or second. Now, no wonder the TikTok reels are not more than 10 seconds or 15 seconds.
That is correct.
It could have been a minute
That's correct.
and you would be okay with it.
Mhm.
But if it cannot grab you in 10 seconds, it's not going to grab you anything.
Yes.
So now I won't be surprised if there's another app that comes about, let's say 2 years down the line, or even 1 year,
Mhm.
that will show you reels in a matter of 2 or 3 seconds or 5 seconds. I
I
will not be
cannot
surprised.
believe it. I cannot believe your research. You are so true because when I was making this U2Go app, I started designing it in 2023, and our attention span was 40 seconds according to the American Psychological Association research. But you are so correct. It is 8 seconds now.
Yeah.
God damn it. What's going on?
Yeah. I mean, we have humanity has come to a point
Wow.
that the most predominant species is competing with a goldfish, for
My
God's sakes.
God.
I mean,
Beautiful. You
all
should write an article on that.
I should actually. You just
Yes.
gave me a
Yes.
prompt.
Yes.
You should be,
Yeah.
I will write something.
Yes. And goldfish analogy is super.
And goldfish will have no idea what I wrote. I mean, goldfish wouldn't care. Goldfish has no idea he's just beat humans. He
Yes.
doesn't care.
Right.
He has no agency in it, right?
Right. And what do you even understand in 8 seconds? I mean, it
Yeah,
takes, I mean, your visuals, when they hit your eyes, it takes time to process, and
yeah,
it takes at least 3 to 4 seconds to just process what's
yeah.
going on, and then hitting you, it's gone by then.
No, absolutely. And that gave me a question to ask you, Atif,
Yeah,
if I could.
sure.
Uh, so somewhere right in the beginning, you didn't mention completely, but you sort of alluded to the fact that you said social media didn't just disrupt advertising, it sort of swallowed it.
Right,
Oh,
right.
if I were to ask you to elaborate a little more, what would you say?
Right. So the thing is, social media in context of online advertising, or so to say, now a very important aspect of modern advertising, uh, even in context of social media, is Amazon, because Amazon basically busted the entire myth about advertising and and new and media buying, and things like that. Because in 2004 I came up with an idea based called on value marketing,
Yeah.
and I sent it to the World Bank, and I sent it to IMF, and I sent it to the Ministry of Commerce in Pakistan. And I proposed them that we will be able to dial back our deficit and increase our GDP, and it was based on value marketing. And I got a response from World Bank, but nothing on concrete grounds. But then I saw the idea imported by GeoTV, Geo News Network in Pakistan, for a while, where, where they were highlighting the everyday consumables or perishable goods based on value and based on prices, and that could have an impact on economy in the sense of everyday grocery and buying. But then it fizzled out. I don't know what's. I haven't seen it in a long time. But what I'm trying to say is that value marketing, because my doctorate was in image marketing, but the next step was value marketing. And Amazon is what value marketing idea that I had in my head, because it just streamline all the features and benefits, and then just put the visuals, and no hardcore copywriting, no techniques, no sugar coating, so to say, or beautification of the, or even hard sell. It's just laid out over there, and that has kind of not only paved the way for more conscious buying, but it has also given us room for consuming advertising through social media. Coming
Mhm.
back to what you
Yeah.
were addressing, so it has evolved in many ways, but sorry to say, they have these companies have become extremely, so to say, calling it formally, ambitious in terms of what we view, or even the advertising rates, and I mean, people can generate content on the social media and post their posts, and but at the same time, and they get viewership, of course, and that's the main product they offer, which they don't produce. But when it comes to advertising, they are continuously switching their algorithms so that the buyers don't get or especially the creative people don't get settled down, or cannot uh, predict the trend, or because as creatives, we have the superpower of prediction, what the viewers want to hear or listen or read. And then when we deliver among those lines, then it gets more mileage, which means less more viewership for the brands, and less billing for these companies. So now and that is the reason, how things are fastly shifting from Facebook is becoming an archaic
Yeah.
thing, and Instagram is picking up because it is more effective in context of business, and you can DM lots of businesses without those prolonged, because Facebook, honestly speaking, was created for desktop,
Yeah.
and it remained for desktop for a long time. but it has never transcended in the way. Although Mark Zuckerberg is the smartest of them all, in context of if you see marketplace, if you see advertising, if you see how he has kept Facebook relevant despite so many changes in the landscape of social media, and also in context of Facebook and so many controversies about the Pandora box of negative effects of. There is a documentary on Netflix as well, the social something like that, and of course becoming a part of Oscar history as well with the movie Social Network. So what I'm trying to say is that it has transcended a lot. And again, another important mention would be Twitter or X, and how I had predicted that in my book in 2017, Automation versus Autocracy. And how Elon took over Twitter, and how the elections were won. That, and also most important thing is that not only in context of Twitter and X, my prediction about automation was also in context of AI. And AI basically is automation at a grand scale. So now people are coming up with creatives through AI, and they ask them to write the copy, they ask them to come up with the visuals, and but again, at the end of the day, AI works on whatever is fed into it, and it
Yeah.
cannot come up with original dynamics like human beings like us can come based on given situations and scenarios and brand identity. So yes, so that's does it answer your question that social media, and my focus has always been on Amazon, at least in context of last 10 years,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Amazon basically picked up on the model of eBay, and now these Temo and others are embarking on in the same direction. So it has shifted because advertising was mostly image marketing, and now the world has shifted to value marketing. But again, these social media giants are again, by switching algorithms. And the reason TikTok does much better than Facebook is again the ingenuity that TikTok has towards its target audience, and from Facebook, and it's again an attempt to uh, control and minimize the mileage, and getting. And this is the probably the reason
Right.
that Google advertising has gone in background, because their algorithm was way ambitious, and then ChatGPT came, and then they were struggling with Gemini, and now suddenly those ads are just static ads, and there is no evolution in that.
Absolutely. I mean, I honestly couldn't agree more with you.
Yeah.
It's just that for me, and I have a question for you that's coming up,
Hmm.
and it's just to get your thought process on it. So yeah, you're right. Social media, I thought used to be the platform for the ads. Now it is the ad
Yes.
right now, and you have and the traditional billboards influencers are now are now the new billboard.
Yes.
So if so I think if you're not part of the scroll, you technically don't exist today.
Absolutely.
And brands learned that they could spend less on campaigns and more on the creators who already had the eyeballs to begin with.
Yep.
Now, let me ask you this. So, having said all of that, what you just said,
Yeah.
do you think that a traditional advertising has been done for and dusted for? Is it dead or is it just been dethroned? So before you respond, let me set a context for you.
Mhm.
So, look, today you can still run a Super Bowl ad, but guess what? Half the audience is live tweeting or checking TikTok during it, and so the power base has moved
Yes.
from agencies to algorithms, like you said, such as AI and ChatGPT, what have you.
That's
And
right.
so from studios, you have gone from studios to streamlines,
Right.
streamers, and then you have gone from creatives to consumers.
Right.
So, having said all of that, do you think there's still scope for traditional advertising? Is it dead or is it dethroned? Or
So
can it pivot?
Actually, the thing is that when I listen to people like Mr. Beast and the giants on YouTube, because I mean, I forgot to mention, but and of course, it's a different ball game altogether. YouTube is advertising basically today. YouTube is advertising. YouTube is TV. YouTube is movies. YouTube is music. So YouTube is basically everything. Now, what I when I mentioned Mr. Beast is that he conducts this research the same way that we used to do in back in the day. It's just that the mechanics and the dynamics have changed. Like the way the creative is delivered is different. The patterns are different. The formulas are different. But again, when you mentioned that in 1898 the context will remain the same because human nature is the same, human psychology is same, the way it is fulfilled or satisfied, that's different. So YouTube, I mean, directly related to what you asked, you see ads on YouTube, and some ads are outlandish, and some ads, most of the ads are skipped. So now what has become is that there is subliminal advertising in movies as well, and in TV shows as well. And because of that, because like people now watch podcast more than the TV serials or the bogus series that you can predict in 5 minutes into it. You can predict what's going to happen, and it's so devoid of reality, and it's so predictable that there is no curiosity factors involved. So uh, the like I said, and I again look up to you, the way you have kept your focus intact on social media creative writing, and the way you have adapted. It's because your exercise has been good during your formative years, and your technique, writing technique, can be utilized in any way. All you need to do is who's the target audience and what's the product and how you have to align it. So it could be a reality show, it could be like you said, the influencers in this case are models as well. That's
Yeah,
not the
yeah,
billboards, that's not the
yeah,
media, they are
yeah.
also the
And they're the
models.
actors. Yeah,
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 actors.
yeah, yeah.
So that's a new way to reinvent the wheel, but also it's more effective as well. Like for example, I get in touch with companies, or companies get in touch with me for marketing of my apps, and I in traditional advertising or even in Google search, I would have never, and I have never like reached out, were able to get in touch with people with such fine niche. So it is good in that context. But again, from the clickable thumbnails to video based advertising, and then endorsement based influence groups approach. So I mean, I think the rules of the game have, are the same, but only the duration of the game has changed. Like you mentioned, eight
No,
seconds.
absolutely, and not just uh, the duration of the game, or not just the game itself, but the playground on which the game is being played
That's
has
right.
also changed. So, I mean,
That's
it's a
the playground.
trifecta. I mean,
Yes.
it's a trifecta. It's a
That's right.
trifecta.
Yeah, I mean, these are all
Yeah,
playgrounds.
yeah,
Facebook is one
it is.
playground,
It is.
TikTok is, and YouTube,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
now the threads and Twitter and X, and so these are bit different playgrounds basically.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'm going to pivot back to how we started. I
Yeah.
think,
Yeah.
we talked about the attention span.
Right.
The biggest contributor to the attention span is the amount of notifications we get.
Yes.
So let's take a few moments and talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let me share my thoughts, and I'm going to ask you a question
Yes.
and see what your thoughts are.
Sure.
So always think about notifications and why are they so addictive.
Yep.
And so because I think, and I was going to write an article next week on this, and I'm
Mhm.
glad we're having this conversation. So I'm getting a prompt to do that.
Sure.
It's our phone is basically what do you say? It's a digital slot machine, if
Yes.
you would. You
Yeah.
can say that.
Yes.
So like every ping is a chance to win.
Yes.
Uh, win, uh, win attention, win validation,
Yes.
and win, don't get me wrong, distraction. We're
Yes.
actually winning distractions as well, right?
Yes.
So there are apps out there, and I'm sure you know, that are built to compete for your time. They're
Yes.
all out there,
Yep.
yours as well, of course.
Yep.
But you think you're choosing to check them, but they're actually checking and choosing you. At the
Yes.
same time. And
So true. Yeah.
and and at the exact moment your brain is most vulnerable.
Yes.
And I always think to myself, Amir, what's the cost of that? I
Yes.
mean, I could argue with you all day,
Yes.
and I can talk about mental fatigue. I can talk about creative burnout, get
Right.
that all the time.
Right.
I get the attention span collapse, but that was entirely predictable.
Yes.
And we are completely, as humans out there, we are overstimulated, but
Yes.
we are at the same time, we are undernourished.
Yes.
And the funny part is, the irony of it all is, we are drowning in content, but we are starving for, guess what? The meaning of the
Yeah.
content.
That's right.
And we are focusing on the body of the content, but the soul is completely gone for a toss.
Yes.
It's like a fast food for the brain.
That
So
is
my question to you is, how do we get that attention back? What must we do as human
how
species?
to reclaim this attention span. Yes,
Yes,
absolutely
absolutely.
correct. Yeah,
So
the
what
thing is
should we
that,
do?
yeah, the thing is that when you mentioned, like, there are so many layers to what you just said, because when we studied back in MBA, when we studied business communication, when something is encoded, it has to be decoded as well.
Yeah.
But right now, the way we are consuming information, or so to say, entertainment, and how our attention is wowed, it's like shoving fast food in your mouth and chewing it without even a conscious effort. So I mean, the algo is looking for what we like, and is providing us back to back of the same thing. But like you said, we don't have time to process it, so we are just looking for instant gratification. And it has become, like you mentioned, that you don't even have an idea of what it is, because our reflexes, the time between the when the our reflexes are processing, whether it is video, whether it is visuals, whether it is words or captions now. Because mobile has come closer to us than our life partners, it's our office, it's our it's our society, it's our hangout, it's our social circle, it's our, even when we cannot sleep, we don't, crawl towards our life partner, we crawl towards our cell phone and, go on the
And
other side.
and by the way, the life partner you are talking in that phone, who's sitting
Yes,
right next to you.
yes, that's right.
That's the funny
Right,
part of
that's
it. Yeah.
correct. Yeah.
Put the phone down, turn around, and talk.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I go back to the pictures and see, when Homa used to be so pretty, and now, she's just next to me, and I'm watching her picture in the cell phones. So
And so, I mean, hopefully not the times when she was pretty. She was still pretty. Yeah. But then you're
so
not focusing on the live person, you're focusing on the digitized version of the
that's
person.
my
Yeah.
point, basically,
Yeah. Yeah.
and cell phone has nothing has been closer to human beings than cell phone, because before, when I used to have a breakup with my exes, they used to check where is my iPod. If my iPod is missing, then I have left, so now the iPod has and the camera and the wallet and the key, everything is in the iPhone.
So,
So
so your human version is preceded by your digitized version.
that is correct. That's correct. That
Yeah,
is
so to
correct.
speak.
And
Yeah,
when you're
yeah, yeah.
talking about, and again, you just pushed me into the time machine of future, because then we'll be talking to holograms, and
Yeah.
the hologram with the AI has taken the basic features, and that video is working, and I'm talking to my dead father, and his voice is also encrypted and everything. So what I'm trying to say is that a cell phone has become everything, and that is the reason these notifications have become a distraction. And now that bombshell that you just dropped on me of 8 seconds, We are in a warning, it's a silent alarm, and it's we are in an emergency situation because it took 20 years to wipe out 2 minutes, and it took 1 year to wipe out let's say 22 seconds. So
Yeah,
it's scary. And again, it's not slowing down, and the beast is
yeah.
and again, I'm not trying to be cynical over here, but what I'm saying is, and like I said, it has become more efficient as well, but it's only for conscious minds like us, who are analyzing things from a creative viewpoint and a philosophical viewpoint. And we have not yet even talked about the analytics, which
Yeah.
is
I mean, it's a
media
whole different subject at all.
yeah,
That's a whole different subject.
that's media
Yeah,
buying, and the
yeah,
cost per click and things like that. So yes, I totally agree with you that it is relevant, but you have to be totally fully well versed where to get in and where to get out. Like you said, encoding and decoding, you cannot decipher what the hell we just saw. We liked it, our eyes and our psychology, our brain registered it, but it has affected our subconscious, and that is the reason long form is coming back, like podcast, like we were discussing that the mainstream advertising and the Joe Rogan show has
yeah.
been
We're just doing damage control. We're just doing damage control. That's
yes,
what we're
and
doing.
Joe
Yeah,
Rogan has basically
yeah.
destroyed the news media of the world, because people don't want any buffers, people don't want any angling, people don't want any opinions. They want to hear the things from the horse's mouth, and if you ask the right questions, then people are hooked on it.
So, Atif, so I'm glad you mentioned all of that. That begs another question. I don't know how much time we have. I think
I
you
think
said
yeah, a
it
couple of
45
minutes.
minutes.
Yeah,
We're almost there.
yeah,
That begs another question for me. I always think, does greater connectivity always mean greater connection?
that's right.
That's something to keep in mind.
That's
But
right.
do you honestly think we have lost our ability to focus, or we are just trying to adapt to a completely new kind of world? Because now our I think we have traded depth for dopamine, so to
Mhm.
speak. That's an attention thing,
That's right.
that drug, and but we haven't lost attention. We have just reallocated it to 800 micro things at once. That's what we
That's
have
right.
done.
That's
So
right.
we don't go deep anymore. We skim, we swipe, we save for later, but we never go back.
Yes.
We are so sort of in a dormancy position right there
Right.
that we think, okay, if we don't need it then, we
Right.
never would need it
That's
later or never.
that's
But
right.
we keep ourselves happy to say, okay, we can always go back to it later, but we never actually do.
That's right. That's
How
right.
do we handle it? And that probably is the great way to end this
Yes.
conversation. But what are your thoughts?
So it's like mental malnutrition,
Yeah,
you don't know what you have consumed, but again, that is the reason our subconscious is not manifesting, because we are getting used to immediate things, instant things,
yeah,
and things don't happen, deep things and durable things don't happen instantly.
yeah,
So this information malnutrition that we are facing, it's affecting our subconscious, it's affecting our that's why there is a mental health crisis, because we don't know what we want, and like you mentioned, you don't go back to it. It's the power of rewind that we had on the VCR or DVDs, which now you can just swipe, but we never go back to it, because there is so much out there to be consumed, and we don't know how to manage that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So give me
absolutely.
a wrap up. We have less than 1 minute. Give me a wrap up of where we are heading and how we should utilize this attention economy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So here's my last wrap-up thought. If attention is currency, then I ask myself, what's the investment strategy for that currency? So I would say we need to invest in depth. We need to in people who feed your soul, not just feed your body, in ideas that could stretch your brain, in moments where you're fully there, you're not just documenting it for grams, so to speak. So now you could ask me, what's the ROI?
Yeah.
I would say your presence.
Yes,
That's your attention. You're there. And that's rarer than, I would say, a Bitcoin these days.
that's right.
You can find Bitcoins faster than your own presence.
That is
So
right.
that's I think it was amazing